Let's begin! PSVR is a rhythm game, but how you hit each note, or in this case, music orb, is a bit different to other similar titles. Just in front of you is a wall with a grid texture. Upcoming orbs will have an indicator appear on the wall, which shows you exactly where they will have an impact. You must hit the orb exactly when it collides with this indicator. What makes it different to other games is the fact that the orbs don't always impact in the same places. This demands that you reach up high, low, and to the left and right of you. All this extra movement actually helps you to get into the rhythm more. It's certainly more energetic than other titles and makes you feel a little bit like a conductor, especially with the notes that require you to follow a line across the screen. Now you don't actually have to properly whack at each note, as if you was hitting a drum, because as long as your move controller is in the correct position at the right time, the music orb will be collected. This further gives you the feeling that you are a conductor, although it is very hard to resist hitting some of the notes like a drum in some of the music sections. Rhythm games quite often have the music notes automatically generated, but in this game, the developers have manually fine-tuned the orb patterns and locations, and it really does show. The required motions from your arms really have been given some thought, and each song is fun to complete because of it. Some songs even introduce two orbs that must be hit with the same move controller. Sure, it's a simple action, but it's enough to change up the routine that you're used to. I just wish it was used in more of the songs. The gameplay mechanics are very simple overall, and after beating your first track, you have learnt nearly every move that is required from you. But the game keeps each track fresh by obviously throwing more notes your way in quick succession, and the lines you must follow start to overlap each other, which can appear a bit trippy when viewed in the virtual world. Graphically, it's not the best looking game ever, as the 4 real world locations, that include London and Rio, are a bit blurry in the background, but as your focus is mainly on the orbs, it doesn't affect the experience too much. The platform you're standing on does have some poor textures, but honestly, I never really thought about looking down there whilst playing. I only did so for the review. As you would expect, the scoring system is all about achieving long combos. You know if you're doing very well, as each time you hit 40 orbs in a row, a blast of music is heard, and the backgrounds and your sticks change colour. It is visually very satisfying, and actually makes your heart race more, as you fear losing the new colours you have achieved. You are graded at the end of each track, but you can see how well you are doing during each track by looking down at a bar. That tells you how close you are to getting each grade, but it is sometimes glitched. In some of the tracks it was over an A, but on the end result screen I received a B. In total there are 40 licensed music tracks for you to beat, and overall I thought it was one of the best track selections in a rhythm game. This will obviously vary from person to person, but most of them really are quite catchy. Unfortunately, the tracks are not organised in the best of ways in the menu. Each track is either labelled easy, medium or hard, and they are mixed around on each of the 4 pages. It's a slight bit of hassle if you want to tackle one difficulty at a time. There are also some other tracks that are mixed in, that are labelled Fever Mode. These are repeated tracks, but have harder music orb patterns. These really will test your skills and will demand many attempts. It's a shame that there isn't a practice mode so you can instantly play a particular difficult section in a track, as parts in the hard and fever mode tracks are really quite overwhelming. This game is obviously meant to be played over and over again, but if you was just to play each track once, it would take around 2 hours and 20 minutes to get through. If you want a reason to return, the trophies should encourage you to do so. You get some easy ones here, such as simply beating a certain amount of tracks, and for completing all of them. There is also a couple of extra challenges, such as completing any track without missing a music orb, and for getting an A rank on a track whilst only using one hand. The rest are for getting a certain rank on every track. It shouldn't be too hard to get an A on each of these, but the S rank will be a bit tricky. Now it is a very good trophy list for a rhythm game, but a platinum here really would have made it perfect, especially as there is a lot of learning required in the hard stages to get an S rank. A platinum would have been a worthy reward. For a rhythm game, there is a few things missing from it, such as online leaderboards or even local leaderboards where family and friends can input their initials for their scores, and the menu layouts are not the best. But the game absolutely captures the fun that rhythm games have and improves upon the gameplay, which is obviously the main thing. The fact that the orbs must be hit from different locations really changes the way you approach each stage. Instead of just focusing on a bar at the bottom of the screen, you must be aware of all the space in front of you, and it really does change up the overused rhythm game mechanics. The different motions required won't be enough to get you into rhythm games if you have never enjoyed them in the first place, but if you do, I'm sure you will love Beats Fever. The manually fine-tuned orb placements really do ensure that each song is fun to complete, and it really does have an amazing track selection. This is a great rhythm game that does just enough different with the motions required to hit each note to separate it from other similar games, and I do see myself going back to it thanks to the excellent tracks. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more PlayStation VR content.